And we're live? All right. We're live. Jody's texting one of our clients, I'm sure. We, little technical difficulties getting started today, so thank you guys for joining. If you are watching this after the fact, leave comments, leave questions. Sign up at coreteamhawaii.com. We sometimes have our assistant reaching out to people saying, hey, we go live every Tuesday. Do you have questions? And so we'll include those. We're going to have to jam on this one today. But if you look at my screen, which Kenji will share, you go to Core Team Hawaii, go to the bottom, sign up at the very bottom where it says, let's talk. Entirely side note, go back to my screen. For my local people and for Jody next to me, this is not H1. This is not H1. H1 goes by the airport. And for the agent we were coordinating with yesterday to meet us in Mililani, who was caught in traffic, when you're going west on Honolulu Freeway, my local people, you have to comment. When you're going west here and you go into the Honolulu Freeway H1 merge by Halawa, that's not the Pro City exit, okay? That's not what was the other thing we were just bantering on? Aiden?
Aloha Stadium.
Oh, he said the football stadium. So for Aiden on our team, this is not the football stadium. This is Aloha Stadium. Okay, how dare you? I mean, that might be the craziest thing I've heard today. All right, let's get to our safe surveys. A sports field. They don't. You know what? They still have Aloha Stadium swap meet, but they don't have any football games. I hate talking about the weather, but I'll banter over some either real estate, negotiations, business all day. But in terms of less stimulating things, we could talk about what you call the freeway all day.
H1.
I don't want to hear about the weather.
H1.
All right, which we are going to get to the weather today. I want to shout out Kenny first. Kenny, we have these safe surveys where our assistants reaching out and getting feedback from our active clients. So you're either writing offers, you're in escrow, or you just finished. Kenny has been good to us throughout the entire process. I feel like he already understood what we wanted in our place from the very beginning. There were multiple places to show us by himself. And even when we got there, the moment he walks in, he was like, oh, yeah. I don't get it.
He was like, oh, yeah, this one's not for you. Because he knew exactly what he
I
wanted.
see. He knew exactly what our needs were. So if we saw something that wouldn't quite work with us, he lets us know. He was really great throughout the whole process. And we actually started looking for something. We found the place that we bought, which is pretty good, right? It's really good working with him. Victor and Madison. Awesome. Shout out to you guys. And then we have another, wait. I was in photos and I don't usually use that. Okay. We'll go back. Aiden. We like Aiden and we trust in his judgment. He's a good communicator, quick response, thorough, and professional. Richard and Melissa. Shout outs to Richard and Melissa. We had another one, which we're only doing 2 today. But didn't the person say of all the houses we bought, wasn't that the other one? Said of all the houses we've bought, Aiden has been the best agent we've ever had.
Oh, and that's what the buyers I talked to today said.
It's them.
Oh, yeah. They said it again to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were like, they have bought. They are experienced. And,
they're experienced buyers, right?
They said, Aiden has been amazing. Aiden is the best communicator. He's so thorough. He's so patient.
Awesome. I love that. I could do a whole session just on that. But our thumbnail today references this big hurricane. And so that brings some things to mind. One, we're a little bit removed. Like we felt September 11th here. But when I went to boot camp, and this is 5 years later, I go to boot camp. And it was still present in the Northeast in like a different visceral way. Mm-hmm. This hurricane in Florida, I saw something on social media because I have all these real estate agents I'm connected with across the country, right? And they, the gravity of the words they're choosing to post. I'm like, dang, what's going on? So I go and look at the picture. I'm like, oh, this is monumental. And so if people are watching this years later, months later, in this thing I saw, it says this is nothing short of astronomical. I'm at a loss for words to meteorologically describe to you. Yeah, it's a little messed up. The storm's small I and intensity. 897 MB pressure. What's an MB unit of measurement?
I don't know. Megabyte?
Yeah. You have an idea? MBs? Anyway, it's probably something like, 180 mile per hour, max sustained winds and gusts 200 plus miles per hour. Now, this is the fourth strongest hurricane ever recorded by pressure on this side of the world. The eye is tiny, all caps, at nearly 3.8 miles wide. I guess a tiny eye means a really strong storm. Which I guess I can see,
Millibar.
Yeah, bars of pressure. That makes sense. This hurricane is nearing the mathematical limit of what Earth's atmosphere over the ocean water can produce. Let's say that sentence again. This hurricane is nearing the mathematical limit of what Earth's atmosphere over this ocean water can produce. Basically, they're saying a storm and a hurricane cannot get much stronger, if at all. One, our aloha goes out to clients that we just mentioned, any of our other clients, viewers, watchers, my friends, Tyler and Jordan, and I could think of all sorts of people to give shout outs to, but love you guys and thinking about you guys. Also, I didn't even realize till this morning that this was happening. And I think that's a product. Do you watch the news and pay attention? You knew?
I knew.
How'd you know? Instagram. Okay. But if you don't watch the news and stuff.
Yeah, I don't watch the news.
It's just not as, you don't feel it as much. Mm-hmm. There's something with the distance, even though we're all connected through these phones. I don't think we understand the gravity of it because we're far removed. Also, Lahaina. Mm-hmm. I think that the whole nation was peaked momentarily, but Hawaii felt and feels Lahaina much longer. It's out of, if you live in New York, it's out of your thought process.
Right, yeah. Like 3 days later, a week later.
Yeah. The Lahaina fires were devastating. Who knows? Maybe the death count in Lahaina will have been higher than this hurricane. I don't know. I don't want to compare and do that whole thing. But there's something to observe about being far removed. And so that can be good. Because in Hawaii, one of the things I enjoy is that we are not so hyper political. We're not so MAGA versus pronouns versus, we're not just polarized, right? Mm-hmm. Also, though, if you are from mainland or say you're local and your family moves up to the mainland, that distance does something. I've lived it my whole life. Since I was a small child, my family was from Florida and Hawaii. You are out on an island, figuratively, so to speak, and literally. And it's different living here. Also, what about hurricane insurance?
Yep.
What about hurricane insurance? So with all of the insurance issues in the industry, mm-hmm. and I hear it affecting Florida, California, Hawaii, disaster states. Although Hawaii is not a disaster state. We haven't gotten hit by a significant hurricane. Kauai got grazed by Iniki, and because of the way Kauai construction is, a lot of roofs were gone and there was some damage. But we haven't really had a significant hurricane strike. And who's trying to FaceTime you?
Casey.
Yeah. We haven't had a significant hurricane strike in in 100 plus years. Casey, we're on live on YouTube. Thank you. We're live. Okay, I'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye. Jody's sister and another one of Pacific Grand Mortgage's generals of this army. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we're out in the middle of the ocean. I'm not a meteorologist, but the way the pressures and whatever, we just don't get hit by hurricanes, knock on wood. And so every time there is one and Costco runs out of toilet paper and water, a lot of time I'm like, I don't worry. That might be naive of me. I might pay for that one day, but I just don't worry about it. But if you live in Florida, if you live in the Gulf, Southeast, it is something to worry about 100%, as we see in North Carolina and with this one. But this situation, these two hurricanes, one devastating parts of North Carolina, who knows what this one's going to do in Florida, Georgia, etc. It can't be good for the insurance industry. It's not going to get better as a result. Hopefully it doesn't affect us in Hawaii in terms of our real estate and insurance problems, but I know it's not a net positive.
Right. It's not good.
Yeah.
I mean, hurricane insurance is already so expensive.
Yeah.
And then that is the whole reason why we're in this little predicament, because part of the strategy to keep costs down was to create that sublimit. So it's, hey, you're gonna be protected, but only up to $10 million.
Yeah.
So that's the sublimit issue, and that's why many lenders, a majority of the lenders, have an issue now with any of the buildings that have the sublimit.
Yeah.
So, but the whole purpose of the sublimit was to keep costs down.
Right.
And now all those projects are trying to get to a point where they're having no sublimit and they're having full hurricane coverage. And that's happening in an environment where all the costs are going up, period.
Period. Is that period DT at the end? Period?
Yeah.
Period. Okay. Yeah, I don't want to shift too much of the focus to away from the severity and the compassion towards this hurricane hitting Florida, but this is a Hawaii real estate channel, and so I would be amiss if I didn't acknowledge that we have hurricane insurance issues specifically. And why does that affect us when we haven't been hit by a hurricane? It's because the insurance industry responds the way they choose to respond, and I do think that this could be. I don't know that they could put any more of a magnifying glass on insurance issues at HOAs in Hawaii. That maybe is a saving grace.
I mean,
like they're already looking at every freaking thing. Things that in 20 years you guys haven't really. It's like only in the last 6 months you've heard of, like city and county ABC. And,
right. All of that.
Yeah.
It's massive scrutiny right now. But costs can go up.
Costs can go up. Yeah, that's for sure. Costs can go up, which even if they aren't adding things to the magnifying glass, the costs can just go up.
And that's painful, period, because that's a trickle down to HOA dues going up.
And it can affect single family too, and will. It has.
Oh, I mean, it has, yeah.
But it's just when you own the single family property, your insurance goes up by $800 a year. It's not like owning the condo building and things going up $800 a month. It's
right.
just those are egregious out of pocket examples. But
and the reason for that is because the single family homes always had full coverage. There was no little loophole to let's create this little sublimit on this policy to bring down our costs, right? So because of that, that's why single family homes aren't having such a bigger step up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to send a shout out to Victoria and Michael. Victoria and Michael are clients that just came in. I haven't even spoke with them yet. We DM'd yesterday, and they were a referral from Doug, which is super cool. So shout outs to Victoria and Michael if you're watching. Shout outs to all of our clients if you're watching. If you guys have questions, put it in the comment section. Jody, rates have gone up quite a bit.
They have. Every day since the Fed brought down the overnight rate by 50 basis points, which is honestly what I had been telling people was going to happen.
Okay.
However, we didn't expect them to go up this much.
Okay. Why are they up so much?
It's for a lot of reasons, but basically comes down to a very strong jobs report that came out.
Jobs are too good. The economy is too strong. We want to collapse it more.
Yeah.
But it won't.
And the jobs reports, and that there is a disconnect where I don't want to get all conspiracy theory on you, right? But obviously
Let's get conspiracy.
the people in charge now want everyone to think that the economy is better than it's ever been, right? They want people to think, no, with us, unemployment is so low and this, that, and the other, right? And so there are these reports that come out and then there are revisions made like 3 weeks later.
Yeah. So, well, a simple example that I think you don't even have to be too conspiratorial. You don't have to be too MSNBC or Fox News to understand that sometimes there could be this much unemployment, and then unemployment could drop, but there are actually more people unemployed because what are they measuring? People who have been unemployed 0 to 6 months. Mm-hmm. So once they've been unemployed longer than 6 months, they fall off the chart, but there's still more people not working.
Right.
So that's just a simple example of what you're kind of alluding to. Right?
Yeah. And so that jobs reports came out. The Fed started backtracking and saying, hey, you know, the jobs report are still strong. We still need to see inflation come down, and we need to see inflation not just come down, but stay steady. So when a jobs report is strong, that leads to costs going up, which obviously is the opposite of costs going down, which is inflation coming down. So pretty much and that's why there is this very, every time right before the Fed is going to do an announcement, and that's why we talk about the pricing being baked in, because there's all of these anticipations of what the market expects to happen, and that's already shown in the pricing that I'm sharing with someone on a given day. And then when the actual event occurs, and then data follows after the actual event. So like the 50 basis points drop happened, and then the jobs report came out, and then the Fed said, whoa, we didn't like that report. We're really going to take things slow from here on out. Mm-hmm. That's a leading indicator for the market, and that's why mortgage rates go up.
Okay. So simple 30-seconder. Jobs report came back too strong, which indicates
it's the opposite.
It's adjacent to inflation, more inflation. And so they're like, we got to put rates back up to get those jobs down, to get inflation down.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily put rates back up. It's just not drop again, not drop as many more times before the end of this year. So
but
again,
then
the market is...
The banking world, the mortgage world responds and goes, oh, you said X, we will then increase our rates.
Right, because they're baking it in, because they're already baking it in.
So I'll be honest, it's annoying. The whole lending side, it kind of pisses me off. I don't like having to figure out, you know, I'm a married man, and sometimes I'm like, what? That was never said explicitly. Like, yeah, but you know, you got to bake it in. You got to understand when I say X, I mean Y.
Yeah.
Ugh. And that seems like everyday lending. You're thinking, well, the jobs report's X, but then the moon was full.
Well, and the thing is, there's so many
the guy
many
who said
inputs.
It's a Pisces, and so we're gonna lower rates.
Right. And then this conflict here between these two countries, and then this nation leader said this, and that was concerning.
Yeah.
And so all these things, literally every single day, impact the
interest rates, which is why we say rates can change daily.
Rates change daily, multiple times a day.
Could this hurricane affect rates?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How so? How would that work?
So typically when another thing that gets baked in, right, is that if the government and or the banks feel like things are going to slow down too much, they're going to incentivize it a little bit. Right? So if it's like, man, that was pretty bad, this could really be painful, and this is going to slow things down. So let's bring in a couple million of volume real quick and do this little special and blah, blah, blah.
So anytime there's fear in the markets, that could be NVIDIA is going out of business, so it causes a chain reaction. That could be China and Taiwan have a conflict. Iran bombed Israel. There's this big natural disaster. Anytime fear enters the markets, they go, oh, we have a solution. It's called free money,
Right.
Or
We
cheaper money.
We have a special. So I actually, one of our bigger wholesale lenders that we work with, she texted me this morning and she's like, hey, Pac Rim's going to get a 0.25 incentive on anything locked in the next 30 days.
Yeah.
So that's an example.
You know what? I just got a text from my solar teammate. So if you don't know, we had all these opportunities to endorse different companies, moving companies, which is a hard one because the ocean moves, ships bang stuff around, and then, core team recommended X mover. We have our recommended movers, but it's just challenging to like put them on the channel in this way. And so anyways, my solar guy texted me as I'm checking for your guys' questions, and he said, hey, you're talking about the storm, talk about solar. And that's a good thing, right? Hawaii's hot. Florida's hotter. Now, you could have solar panels and lose your whole roof, and that's a different problem. But assuming you still have your solar and you have your batteries and whatnot, it's 90 degrees in Florida now. It's like some of these people still have air conditioning because they are autonomous from the grid. You know, they have solar, they have battery backup. And so reach out to me wherever you are in the world. I can make an intro or referral for solar, but especially in Hawaii. If you guys are looking at, as I get older, it's not just, the cost savings is great because it's cheaper to own your power than to rent your power from Hawaiian Electric. The math is a no-brainer. But more than that, as I get older, this disaster preparedness and also autonomy from the government, owned entity of power. I like it.
I like it too.
I'm not a total libertarian doomsday planner, but I like not having to rely on them for the grid for my power. Mm-hmm. Conspiracies turn out to true later. I've been looking at all your guys' comments, but I'm going to jump to the JAR Foundation. Aloha, 3-part question. What is recasting mortgage? How is it beneficial to all or some home buyers? And why doesn't the bank or lender talk about recasting a mortgage? Well, we do talk about it. It's not common. Refining is more common, especially where we are today. But Jody, correct me if I'm wrong. A recast would be like, I have a $500,000 mortgage. I inherit $100,000, $200,000. I make that huge principal payment, and then I can recast my mortgage. And so when you recast, let's say I'm 3 years in, so I have 27 years left on my mortgage, and I put that big $100,000 principal payment. Mm-hmm. Do I recast it to 30? Mm-hmm. Right? So it's kind of like a refi, but you're not getting a new rate.
For anyone that has a historically low interest rate, it's a recast is a million times better than a refinance. Mm-hmm. You don't want to lose your historically low interest rate. A recast is going to allow you to recalculate your principal and interest based on the lower balance at the same exact interest rate.
Yeah.
And it's not always allowed. So it's not like, you can always do a recast no matter who your servicer is and no matter who your lender was. That's not a given.
I've inquired with you guys recently about it because I'm like, do I buy an investment? Do I put a big payment and recast? Because I lose money on my one investment in terms of cash flow. I made really good money in appreciation, but cash flow, I could recast that one and maybe get closer to break even on the year. But why isn't it talked about more? It's not refi is a common household term, but not recast.
Yeah, most people don't inherit large sums of money.
Necessarily have hundreds of thousands
Most people
of dollars.
don't call me, like my one client that we just closed 3 years ago, and he's like, I'm going to be paid off in 3 years. Like we've already paid down $500,000. I'm like, where did that money come from?
Yeah,
because I know how much you make.
Yeah.
But so in most people, it's not even advantageous to recast. Like if you're talking $20K and you're going to recast, that's not worth it.
Yeah.
Right. Or not that it's not worth it, but it's just I could do the math and I guess it could be worth it because it doesn't cost you anything.
Also, it's not more than recast, there's this strategy where you put HELOC, home equity line of credit, in first position, get rid of your mortgage, and now every dollar you have comes in, and then if you need to buy spam, dollar goes out, dollars go in. sophisticated ways to fight interest. And if you want to go down that road, I'd recommend learning that. Now, you might need a coach, but if you have like me, a 2.25% interest rate, I can Dave Ramsey it and put, if I have 100 grand, 300, 500 grand sitting around, go recast my loan, or I could like put it in a safe, in a bond and do better than that. Or
right. Or
there's other things to do with your money.
And also, there is also a mathematical equation that if you do X dollars more per month, right, then you're shortening the term by this many years. And so you're effectively, without the hassle of a recast, you're accomplishing the same goal.
Yeah.
So, but for someone that would need to and want to realize the monthly savings, right, of owing less and then having a lower principal and interest, yes, recast is a good way to go. Now, most people, they're not going to have that substantially lower principal balance.
Yeah.
So a refinance is going to make more sense.
When you recast, do you end up paying? I have to look at them. I was going to recast, or I have some money, and I thought about recasting, so I had your bro look in, like, what's the minimum I have to put down? Will they recast? Because I'm on an ARM, I'm on an adjustable rate mortgage. What's the minimum? He learned that it had to be at least 10,000, and I was like, that's actually low.
Yeah, that's a low.
I figured it would. Bank of Hawaii would require more.
Some of them have 20. Some of them have a 20 min.
Okay.
But 10 min is great, and to me, not worth it.
Yeah.
Also.
Yeah, like why go through? Is there a cost to recast?
I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's, you're working with a servicer, so it's kind of like, it's not easy.
Yeah, like,
right?
When I look at the math of recasting and what I'm saving, damn it, I would pay money not to deal with that administrative process.
Right.
But that's me. Some people want the administrative smoke. I'd rather go sell lemonade. I would literally rather go sell lemonade at the park, make a few $100 extra each month, than deal with the, going through a mortgage again for just a few bucks. But to each their own. Caffeine Addict said, no need to go, grandkids here, good night. We're preppers, nothing wrong with that. Spam still number one to prep. Funny. Mandy Cal says such a disconnect. I was going to show you guys, my computer is kind of freezing, man. Let's see if it'll refresh.
What's the rest of the question? 3-part question.
Well, is it beneficial? We kind of covered it all. Just all about recast. Kenji, if you can go to my screen.
Yeah.
So Jody and I went to another listing together Sunday, so I won't hold her in contempt for not making it to my open house.
It was on my
I know,
docket.
you asked me to send you the address.
There.
Yeah. But we had a really good turnout. We had 50 plus parties.
I knew it would be.
40 plus, maybe 50 plus parties come through. I mean, just look at that picture.
I mean, it's magical.
It's very, very nice property. We already, even before the first showings, got an offer, very strong offer. And so this has been a good, strong one to sell. There's like,
what was the list price?
1.475.
Nice.
It's a good, strong one to sell. The family dynamic is
what's square footage?
Like 1,300. It's
wow.
The family dynamic is special, I would say. It's we feel good about helping grandma, and the property is just beautiful, and yeah, it's just been a fun one. And all the neighbors came through. They're like, "Oh my God, it's so amazing." So just wanted to shout out our Nahivai listing. We have a listing where we're going to be doing a price reduction in a couple of weeks on this home in Eva. So if you want to catch it before we do the price reduction, reach out to us. I actually have to get running. I have a lunch appointment. Do you guys have any last questions? Do you have any last comments about rates, about lenders? I wanted to prompt you. You said earlier, one of the wholesale lenders that we work with, something. You're referring to, I don't know what you're referring to, but when you say one of the wholesale lenders, what does that mean? How many, because you're a lender, what are their lenders, what does that mean?
We're a broker.
Okay.
And so we work with all of the top wholesale lenders.
I know this, just to protect my street cred, I know. So you work with all the wholesale lenders?
We work with all the wholesale lenders, the top lenders, and they all have their different niche programs. Like one might specialize in VA and really know VA, right? Another one might be a slightly, like just a tiny bit better in pricing for VA, but they really don't know VA. Like they're just like, they'll come to me and be like, we need this. And I'm like, no, you don't. It's a VA loan. So, you know, only our vanilla VA can go there because they just don't know things, right? And then there's other lenders that specialize in doing FHA spot approvals, which we just did one successfully, which is great. So basically, we have built relationships over the past 20 years with all of the best lenders and understood all the best wholesale lenders and understood what they're best at and when we should be working with them.
Well, let me ask you this. One might be like Rocket Mortgage, right? So why would they not, you know, go through our website, say, hey, we're looking at buying a house, Derek and Aiden and Mahe and Kenny. Can you connect us with Jody? Let's jump on a call. Why not just go straight to Rocket?
Right. So our rates are better, first of all.
So me going to Rocket.
Yes.
Because you would think if I want to buy this shirt, if I go to Alibaba or Temu, I get it cheaper than going to Walmart or Target.
Right.
Because there's a middleman. But that's not how it works in lending? No. Or a middle woman.
Right.
That's not how it works in lending?
No. So the wholesale channel, right? So it's kind of funny because Rocket Retail competes with Rocket Wholesale.
Yeah.
Like they're competitors, right? But the wholesale channel, they don't have a marketing budget. They don't spend all this money trying to get people to call the 1-800 number or go to the website and then go get with a loan officer that doesn't even have to take a test to become a loan officer.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
so versus the wholesale side, they are working with what I call like the real hunters of the lending, right? Which is like the brokers. We're out there. We're building relationships. We're making sure we're knowledgeable about all the products and what can and cannot be done. And then we're deciding which wholesale channel to send it to. So
here's the other thing about that. Because I think of everything in business terms. I enjoy business. If I own Rocket Mortgage, why would I give better rates and like have 50 million that could go out to, you know, these certain relationships at great rates, and then when you come in direct to consumer, I am not as competitive. Well, I see that in other industries, ceiling fans. Minka Air, just bear with me for a minute. Minka Air, they'll get these orders for 500 ceiling fans, and they won't send it to the Hilton Hawaiian Village. They'll have Pacific ceiling fans process the order, drop ship it, because they're honoring that relationship. They don't want to build out this whole direct-to-consumer leg or at least put a ton of money into it. The friction in business, the efficiency of business costs a lot. If something is twice as hard to do with doing it with you directly, it can be more profitable to insert middle woman and make it half as hard. I still make more profit because all of the human capital, technology capital, all of the infrastructure that's required in doing hard things is expensive. And so you have a lender like Jody who's like got it wired. And also that side of the business incentivizes thousands and thousands of loans. Whereas Rocket's just not as much as they spend on marketing, which spend a shit ton.
So much.
Excuse my language. Which also dips into that side of the business profitability. As much as they spend, real estate's a relationship business. Is more often than not, someone like Jody, because someone like us introduced you to her, or you just went straight to her, whatever the reason, they're going to have the relationship, and of the two, they have the better relationship. Because they can talk to you, they can have these conversations, they're skilled. There's a lot of reasons we can experience why it makes, leave emotion out of it. It's just makes more business sense for Rocket to allow them to have better pricing. But if you're going to come straight to me and I'm Rocket and you're willing to do it at this rate and this, like, yeah, take your money. But it's easier, less friction, and profitable for people like Jody. So I just wanted to address that while we're on the topic, because people would think going direct would be better, right?
Yeah.
And not
so
only
it's the same even for the local banks, right?
Even
like
Bank of Hawaii.
So
right?
Bank of Hawaii, I mean, we are able to give a better interest rate and closing cost, you know, apple to apple comparison than if you were to walk straight into Bank of Hawaii. We can also get it done a lot faster.
Here's an example. I say Aiden is a contractor. Aiden's a big contractor in the state, knows how to build hotels, houses, ADUs, whatever. And then I come to him and I go, Aiden, can build my ADU. And he goes, this freaking guy, I don't know what he's talking about. This is going to be hard. Dealing with this guy, picking out his flooring, changing his mind, this is going to be hard. So he goes, yeah, I can do it, but for this price.
Yeah.
But if I come and I go, Jody, can you project manage for me? I'm trying to build an ADU, but I'm busy. Like, probably use that Aiden guy. Can you project manage for me? And she goes to Aiden. Aiden's like, oh, yeah, we've done 1,000 deals together. I know it's going to be smooth. He gives her this price because it's going to be easier, right? So anyways, I don't see any more questions. I have to go meet up with my children and wife. It's fall break.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Go have fun.
I saw one of your kids, but they're always out of school, so I didn't know if it's fall break or what.
She's actually under the weather.
Oh, okay. Cool. Thank you, guys. Reach out to us. Go to coreteamhawaii.com. Go to the bottom here and fill out the contact form. We've been getting a lot more sellers. Shout outs to Sam, who's probably watching. Samuel. Shoot. I shouldn't have done that because we probably have like 5 who've contacted us recently. And I can't remember everyone's first names right now. But shout outs to all the sellers reaching out to us and wanting to get our full marketing experience on this home. Interesting fact. We weren't even, so the person was a fan of the channel, but ended up selecting his prior agent because the prior agent had done a fine job. We got brought in to partner in part because they were just like, I want the strength of Derek and his team behind this. And so we were like hired guns, you know. It's like they already had their bodyguard, and then they brought in like, you know, the specialist, SEAL Team 6 to jump on it as well, to get the full marketing exposure that our team brings. So, anyways, sorry, not sorry about that.